Hi, it's Sally-Shakti, your visionary writing guide, and welcome to this special edition of Tarot and Astrology for Visionary Writers. This is the new moon and new Venus edition, and we are working with the energies of the week beginning Sunday, the 13th of August until Sunday, the 20th of August, 2023. And regular viewers and listeners will know that I am recording and releasing this a day early. I usually do these on a Monday. And there's two reasons for that. One is because today is the day of the Venus star point, the solar conjunction with Venus in the sign of Leo at 20 degrees. So we're going to be talking about that energy whilst we are in it. And the second reason is because next week I will be busy away at the intimacy gathering at Osho Leela, and I'll be holding ceremonies for this new moon and new Venus energy, amongst other things. And so I felt like it would be a great idea to get the video done today, so that we can be in that energy and then create space for the rest of the week. Okay, so yesterday I was very blessed to participate in a Lunar and Venus and Virgo ceremony at an ancient stone circle in the southwest of England called Stanton Drew, just outside of Bristol, with the star priests and priestesses that I am in my training course with. And it was such a beautiful, powerful energy that was cleansing. We got absolutely soaked by the cleansing rain, absolutely poured on and purified by the rain, to prepare us for our initiation into the Temple of Venus. And really the energy that I could feel through the stones, through the earth. We were encouraged to place our wombs or our horror and our hearts onto the stones in the Venus temple. And really I could feel so much beautiful, soft but powerful, loving energy, this Kundalini life force. And with Venus in Leo, Venus is currently retrograding in the sign of Leo and will conjunct the sun at 20 degrees of Leo. Venus in Leo, where my ceramic yoni pendant again that I picked up from the Glastonbury Goddess Centre last weekend, the Goddess Conference. Venus in Leo really encourages us into self-love through passionate and creative self-expression, which includes our sensuality, our sexuality, our Kundalini, and the ways that we express ourselves creatively through our practice and through what we're co-creating in our lives through our bodies on the earth. Leo is a fire sign. So we have that creative spark, we have that Kundalini rising up within us from the belly of the earth, that inspiration and initiation into self-expression through creative practice, creative process, creative exploration, through the voice and through our bodies in particular. And whatever our creative practice is, we bring it through our bodies. I speak about this often. Whatever your creative practice, whether it's writing or something that feels and seems a little bit more abstract, we are always bringing that energy down through our bodies as channels and creating that alchemy so that we can then bring that light, that illumination, that inspiration, that wisdom, that beautiful, pure, heartfelt energy of Venus onto the earth in physical form, whatever form that takes, even if that's your voice or your words or other forms of expression that may feel more or less physical. Sculpture is a very physical form of expression. Dance, very physical form of expression. But even when we're using our words and our voices, that has to come through our bodies. We have to alchemize that energy, that frequency through our bodies to bring it into form, so that it can exist in physical reality on this earth and make change to the frequency of the whole and create impact in the lives of others. And that's what we are here for. That's what we are doing. That's what you are doing as a visionary writer and creative. So that Venus energy is going to be calling us into our own self-empowerment through creative expression that may be experienced as sensuality, sexuality, creative playfulness, creative practice and process, and any and all of those things. It's certainly going to be felt as Kundalini, and we certainly are going to be alchemizing that energy through our bodies. And that Venus energy and that Leo energy really is encouraging us back into our bodies as our source of power. I work a lot with practice-based researchers in academia who are really exploring and breaking the boundaries of what has been traditionally, I want to say, in a way, considered to be knowledge and wisdom, what has been valued as knowledge and wisdom. And in our academic institutions and our westernized culture, that tends to be intellectualized knowledge. The value is given to intellectualized knowledge, very abstracted intellectualized knowledge. We typically have lost connection with our intuitive and embodied wisdom and knowledge, the wisdom and knowledge that is passed down through the generations from our ancestors and is passed forward through our bodies to the next and future generations. This wisdom, this knowledge can be, and often is in these times, stored in the body as trauma and certain stories and memories that impact our behavior, perhaps in undesirable ways. But we also, and that is, I don't want to negate that in any way, we're all working with reclaiming that our own embodied ancestral wisdom, which includes acknowledging the trauma and integrating the stories of our past that have so often been stories of violence and oppression and silencing and suppression. And with that healing work that so many of us are doing through our bodies, through somatic inquiry, through our creative practices, we also are remembering the inherited wisdom, the embodied wisdom, the encoded wisdom that also is ours by birthright, that also exists in our bodies, that also resides in all of that so-called junk DNA that the scientists can't figure out what it's for. It's where our stories live, it's where the trauma lives, and it's where the wisdom is, it's where the healing is. And so many people now across the spectrum of different practices, processes, and healing modalities, and from all cultures on earth are reconnecting with that embodied, that sacred embodied wisdom, and revaluing. We're bringing value, and we are learning to value and to share with others that sacred embodied wisdom that we hold, and the healing that is required in order to integrate and to access that wisdom. This is something that I feel this Venus star point energy, Venus retrograde, and coming to conjunct the sun in Leo is inviting us all back into our bodies, back into our creative self-expression, back into our sexuality, back into our sensuality, back into that healed, embodied wisdom, that ancestral wisdom that we carry in our bodies, in our energy fields, in our DNA, back into the healing that's required. Venus, as she descends, and she's reaching now the lowest point of that descending, as Inanna, descending fully into the underworld, naked, unclothed, without her adornments. She's at that point right now of full surrender and complete vulnerability. And as she comes into conjunction with the sun, she will go into total darkness, the death of the ego self, the death of the old structures and patterns and habits and traumas that we've been carrying in the body. And as she is reborn and comes back out on the other side of the sun, reborn again as the morning star, just like the phases of the moon, she will carry with her that integrated new wisdom or ancient wisdom. She will carry with her that integrated wisdom from her experience and her ordeal of going down into the underworld, completely alone, naked, unadorned, vulnerable, surrendered. And on the other side of her rebirth, she brings with her that wisdom and that knowledge of the darkness, of the shadows, that is integrated in her body, in her energy field, in her DNA. And we also are invited into this really, really important and ancient and sacred time of ceremony and ritual and initiation. Cultures across the world, the most ancient cultures across the world and the most ancient stories that we have, follow the descent of Venus into the underworld and her rebirth. This is significant, energetic death and rebirth and reawakening for each of us individually and humankind collectively. This is a story and a ceremony that has been part of our history, part of our ancestry, part of our DNA, part of our bodies, part of our earth for so many generations and in so many cultures and places all across the globe. This is the most ancient rite and ritual that we perhaps know of in our human history. So this is deep invitation into our own death and rebirth. What are you invited to leave behind at this altar of, I don't really want to say self-sacrifice, but certainly self-initiation? What are you invited to leave behind, to let go of? And what wisdom, what embodied wisdom are you called to integrate and carry forward for your own healing as Venus is reborn and as you yourself are reborn through your body, through your energy field, through your DNA, through your sacred sexuality and your creative practices? Venus leads us into the beginning of a new 8-year phase of our evolution, transformation, and healing. What seeds are you sowing? What seeds are you carrying in your heart, your belly, your womb, your body, your cells, your DNA, your energy field that are ready or will become ready to spark and reignite and take on life as you co-create through your body, through your alchemy, through your creative practice, now and going forward for the next 8 years. I would encourage you to create your own ritual or ceremony, perhaps with a red candle, or at least a candle if you can't access a red candle, that you can speak out to Venus what you are ready to leave behind and what you are calling through, what seeds you are calling through to integration and activation. And I do want to talk about healing. I want to talk about that really deep, powerful core wound healing that I was just speaking about in terms of that ancestral level healing, that DNA level healing, the patterns and behaviors that have influenced us subconsciously and perhaps self-sabotaged us many times, repeatedly throughout our lives, that we couldn't quite get a hold on. Because on Monday, we have that absolutely newly reborn Venus trining Chiron. So we'll have Venus in Aries, completely newly reborn, and Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo, completely newly reborn, and Chiron in Aries, both in fire signs. And that trine is a really supportive energy. So Chiron is going to be lending support, that healing, that really deep core ancestral level healing, the healing that the wounds that we were born with, the wounds that we came in with into this life. Venus being reborn is also our invitation and opportunity into rebirth. So Chiron will be supporting that rebirth very powerfully with that trine to Venus, that very supportive energy. And both of those planets being in, both of those celestial bodies being in fire signs, Chiron in Aries, it's that first sign of the zodiac, it's cardinal fire, it's initiation. We are ready to begin something new. And as I said, Venus invites us into an 8-year cycle of rebirth. We're ready to start something new from a place of much deeper healing and integration. And if that wasn't enough, this whole week we are in the energy of rebirth. The whole week is this rebirth energy. We're really in this critical moment of rebirth. And if we think about the whole year, 2023, some people who follow tarot and numerology might be aware that this is a 7-year, 2 + 2 + 3 is 7. And that equates to the Chariot card in tarot, which is this deep initiation through rebirth. But it's like being in the birth canal perpetually. And we know that we're leaving behind the old ways of doing things, but we haven't quite arrived at the new structures and forms yet, because we also are in the process of participating and co-creating those new forms and structures through the healing work that we're doing, through the integration that we're bringing forward and bringing through, and through our creative practice. This week for me is pivotal in terms of the energy of 2023 as a year, as the energy of the year. This is the week of deep healing and rebirth. This is the week for me that begins to see a shift in energy and a shift in direction. And some of those things perhaps that have felt so uncertain and unclear and unable to move forward throughout this year may begin to find answers, solutions, direction, and momentum as we move into the next part of the year. Bearing in mind that we still have that tight square between Pluto and the transiting moon's nodes, which might still create some stickiness and some stillness. But I feel like energetically we're going to start to see the seeds of rebirth, the seeds of things beginning to shift and change, because this whole week we are fully immersed in the energy of rebirth. We have Venus rebirthing this week, coming around to rebirth through that portal of solar conjunction, through the darkness back into the light. We have Venus conjunct Chiron rebirthing us with the support of deep ancestral healing. And we have on Wednesday the new moon. We've got the new moon in the late degrees of Leo, where the moon itself will be following the pattern of Venus. It will come conjunct the sun. It will go into complete darkness. It will have its death. It will close out the previous monthly cycle, and it will begin again. It will be reborn again. It really looks and feels to me like this whole week we are in that energy of rebirth. It's going to take a few days at least. It's going to take about at least 3 days to begin to see the new moon appearing as that beautiful sliver and silver crescent that we see, the maiden moon, when she appears. It's going to take at least 3 days to see that. Venus, I don't know how many days it's going to take to see Venus reborn as the morning star. So for me, this whole week feels like we are in this rebirth energy. We are rebirthing. We're healing. We are diving deep. We're releasing those wounds. We're integrating, and we're calling forward the seeds of what we are now ready to create moving forward, giving ourselves plenty of time for that process to unfold. And I guess that's really probably all the energies that I want to speak about this week. As ever, there's a lot happening, but those are the main aspects that I think we'll be feeling. I think it's worth mentioning that also on Wednesday, we'll have the moon and the sun both square to Uranus, whilst Venus is trining, while Mars is trining Uranus. So Uranus is going to be very active for us on Wednesday. So we get that shake up. We get that shake up of the old ways we've been doing things, the old energies we've been carrying, the old patterns, the old wounds, even the old creative practices and processes cannot stand any longer. They will be shaken at their very foundations, at their core, at their root. And then moving forward, we will begin to see new structures emerging in our own lives, and hopefully also that we begin to see that reflected in the world around us. So that's as much as I would like to say for this weekly energy. We're really going to be in that energy of rebirth. Take this opportunity to create your own ceremony with candles, also with journaling if you would like to. So getting clear about what you are releasing, what you are healing, what you are integrating, and what you are welcoming. And I would say that those are 4 different things. What you're releasing, I'm beginning to notice a distinction between releasing and healing. Yes, when we release something, it probably has the effect of healing, but I don't think that all healing is necessarily releasing. Like I said, I think in last week's video, I believe that the deepest healing is when we integrate and we alchemize that healing through our bodies, and we hold the energy of that healing. We hold the energy of that wounding, that Chiron energy, and we grow through that integration, through that alchemy. We grow in wisdom, and we begin to be able to share and to teach and to heal others through that core wounding. So for me, there is something different in the intention between releasing and healing. Real deep core wound healing for me is that alchemy of integration, where we can bring the healed wound through our own bodies into our practice and into what we share with the world. And yet we do get the invitation to release as well. We get the invitation to shed, because as Venus sheds her adornments, she sheds those aspects of our ego, if you like, or our patterns and behaviors that no longer serve us. So you can set your intention through journaling for what you intend to shed, what you intend to heal, what you intend to integrate, and what you intend to awaken or welcome. Let's say awaken, that's nice. Let me write those down so that I can share them with you. So release, heal, integrate, and awaken. Okay. Those will be your journaling inquiries, and I really encourage you to work with the fire energy of a candle as you make those intentions for yourself, so that you can be working with that energy of both Venus in Leo and Chiron in Aries, the fire signs. We also have strong support from Mars and Mercury in Virgo, so we get that deep earth healing energy too. So this week I'm working with the erotic tarot deck in preparation for my time at the intimacy gathering, and also in honor of Venus in Leo's invitation to step more boldly and safely, confidently into our own embodied sensuality as part of our creative self-expression. Ooh. Okay, so what I have got is this is reversed. I've got the Hanged One reversed. It's difficult to see. Let's bring it back a bit. Okay, so I've got the Hanged One reversed. Beautiful, looks like a kind of yoga swing. This kind of beautiful arch back, open chest, looks very much like a kind of acrobatic or trapeze, or kind of like, yeah, an acro yoga swing pose. Obviously, typically they would be this way up. Look at that beautiful surrender, that real energy of surrender. And I want to take this card. Let's take this card both ways up for our reading this week, because just looking at it this way up, I can just feel that openness of the real, that posture of surrender invites us into such openness and such vulnerability, but also relaxation. There's relaxation here. There's support. If you've ever tried yoga swings, you'll know that actually there's a lot of support for the poses that you might be holding or invited into. So the openness, the surrender that we're invited into, and the vulnerability also comes from the knowledge and the experience of the holding and the support that we are given, perhaps certainly from the universe and our experience of our work with our guides and our spirit guides and our circle of ancestors who are really present here with us at this time of rebirth. And perhaps also from other people in the physical world, friends, family, support, people who can support you, community, and even from yourself. What can you give to yourself to nourish and support yourself through this week of deep healing and rebirth? So we have this energy of supported surrender, which can invite us into the deepest opening and the deepest vulnerability, so that we can soften into the healing that is ready to happen. And receiving this card as we did in the reversed position, I also want to invite that as we move through this healing portal of rebirth, we are coming into an opportunity to move out of this this state of uncertainty and unknowingness, and that will give us the energy. Look at this revert when this this card and this character is reversed, they look like they're flying. It's going to give us the energy to move forward in our lives very, very powerfully, with healing and with integrity. And that may take some time still to manifest, but we are sowing the seeds of awakening to that this week as we sit with and sit within our own portals of rebirth. So this week we have new Venus and new moon. We have powerful support, healing support from Chiron, and we have this we have Uranus coming through to completely destabilize the old. We are tearing up the old patterns and structures from the roots. That's the healing that Chiron is giving us. Uranus comes through and completely wipes out the old patterns and practices to create space for the new, for what's to come, and what we are awakening and what we're calling in. So I think that's us for now. I didn't have a reading prepared to share with you today, so I'll leave it at that. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for staying for the duration. Thank you so much to everyone who is subscribing and liking and commenting and maybe even sharing. I really, really appreciate what you are doing, and I really appreciate how much you are telling me that you resonate with what I'm saying. It feels like such a powerful time of awakening, and let's continue to support each other on our paths of healing and awakening and visionary writing and creative practice. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you next time.